Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I'm going to be trying a different fit for the T6 Abyss, and this is for a T6 Firestorm actually. I think that the best filament you would be able to run, if it's possible, would be the T6 Firestorm, just because in the T6 Firestorm you'll be earning T6 loot, but the filament cost will be so little. Firestorms in general are always known to be the least valuable filament, and being able to run them would be an amazing thing. However, it is pretty difficult, especially when it comes to time, just because all the NPCs are buffed up when it comes to their armor. But we're going to be trying the Ishtar with this actually, and the reason is because the Ishtar has a pretty easy time getting both very good tank, and also it has a very good time getting a lot of DPS, in particular in its drones. And if you have a lot of DPS in your drones, it's pretty good because you'll be more often, hopefully you'll be applying the most of the time, because drones have a pretty easy time to get to their target. Like if you have a short range weapon or a relatively short range weapon like the Gila's light missiles that for me only have like 33 kilometers, then there's a bit of time that is going to be spent where you're not doing DPS, especially if the NPCs they're going to be kiting a lot. But this fit right here has much more tank than the Gila, actually, much more tank. And not only does it have more tank, it has about 800 EHP per second, even more actually. But we also have an assault damage control, so even if somehow something were to happen bad, like we would somehow, get too many wrecking shots, we can always pop this and we will just, basically be almost invincible. So this is a really tanky ship, and we've got pretty respectable DPS as well, and actually there'll be a bit more. It has to do with that we've got a lot of drones. The Ishtar has pretty good bonuses to the drones, and I'm actually, the high DPS group is going to be actually the Geckos. The Geckos do a lot of DPS, and I actually am going to group this now because there's a particular group I made, or I was thinking of making, that was particularly for DPS. So you just have to move this, return these. Okay, now I'm going to just put these into DPS because it's going to be 5 drones. You can obviously not have more than 5 drones. So there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That's our DPS group. And then I'll put this Ogre IIs into thermal. And I'll put these Federation Navy Ogres into tanky. And I just put a random Hammerhead in here. I'm not sure why. I think I put a little bit too many. But we're going to see how this goes. I've got the Ishtar is also really good because it's got a massive capacitor. Like, look at that. I have got quite a few capacitor modules, but 50 gigajoules extra is so much. And we're not even doing any electrical side or anything. We're doing the Firestorm. So let's go and get into this. So our DPS group actually puts us over 900 DPS. And I've got these light railguns here. This is just so we can pop maybe some bioadaptive caches or just use them just to add a little bit of extra DPS. They're obviously not particularly good, but they still do something, just a little bit extra, I just hope the timing is not going to be bad, because even though the time is okay. I mean, the DPS is pretty good, but still I worry how it's going to be in the Firestorm. I've never done any T6 Firestorms before. Okay, let's deploy the DPS group now. And we're going to go on the Rodivas actually, because the Rodivas are going to provide a lot of remote reps to these guys. Let's see now, what is our range on our railguns? Okay, 20 something kilometers, so we can start shooting soon. There we go, 30 or fall off, right? Yep, there we go. So we're starting to do a little bit of damage right now. And the drones will soon come in and start hammering down on this guy. I've got pretty blinged out implants and modules, but that's just because I'm going pretty hard, because this is the T6 Abyss. You earn a lot of ISK, so it is, if you're able to actually do this properly, it's well worth the investment, it seems like, at least. And a lot. Look at that shield boost right there. This boosts up the shields quite a bit, actually. Just, I don't know why. The Ishtar is just, it's not even really a shield based ship, it's an armor based ship, but it's still, you're able to get it to have such a good shield boosting per second. It just has a bit to do with its capacity is really good, so it's very very simple in that regard. You're able to then use the extra large shield boosters, and also it has got pretty good fitting, so you're able to, the extra large shield boosters just known but for having pretty bad fitting and also a lot of very high capacity usage. So having then a ship that has really good capacity usage and also some spare mid slots. I mean, 4 mid slots is still not a whole lot for a shield based ship, but it is still possible to have a really good recharge rate if you've got a big enough booster. Okay, there we go. Take this guy out. I'm wondering, I just want to do for time. I just want to see how fast we can actually do this. Maybe I'll actually shoot my railguns on the small stuff, actually. Could be a possibility right there. And actually, I'll put the short range ammo. Javelin's the short range ammo, because these guys are really close. So you put the short range ammo, we can just start shooting these guys. There we go. What is our range? 9 kilometers? Yep, exactly. So this is perfect. So we'll just use the little guns take out these tiny little frigate guns to take out these frigates right here. Quite appropriate. Well, I have pretty good tracking, so I mean, it's alright. It's not too bad. The Ishtar, just something I don't like about it is that you have to use 5 drones. And that's something I love with the Gila because it's so simple. If one takes damage, it's just like there's so many drones to keep an eye on. So it's not as simple as just the Gila. There's 2 drones and that's it, really. Okay, let's just split up these drones right here. Got a lot of drones. Ooh, all this fleet of drones we've got here. It feels quite overwhelming going from Gila's just 2 drones to having suddenly 5 drones. Okay, and you have to keep an eye on all of them as well. Shoot this guy. There we go. Oh, it's time. 3 minutes. Okay, that's pretty decent actually. 3-minute time. Shoot this and shoot this. Split them up. Split these geckos up. Oh, there's that guy. It's just so many little guys we have to keep an eye on. It's pretty hard when you can't really fully know which one is doing which because all the NPCs have the same name and there's so many drones, so it'll take so much time to look at what is fighting what, like this, so fucking blast lance, etc. But the time seems to be pretty good actually. Wait, is this all under 4 minutes and we're doing the Firestorm? Firestorm is usually very slow. Let's look at our DPS. So 980 DPS, almost 1k DPS. So that's some serious DPS right there. Almost, like, that's battleship level DPS we've got right here. Okay, let's go to the next room. See how that goes. And what we've got here. We've got rogue. No, we're not rogue drones. They've got the Drekavac wave. Okay. So we'll go for... what should we go for? I'll go for the thermal drone ogres actually, because these Triglavians have very low thermal resist, so it would be I think it would be quite appropriate to have actually the ogres actually go on this because they do completely thermal damage. And if we're also in the Firestorm filament, so we'll actually have a reduced like thermal resist. You can see there. These guys do a bit. The geckos do omni damage, so if they're it'll probably, but they do a lot more DPS, so it's kind of like does it do more DPS, doesn't it? But I was just using those because they are not, the rogue drones don't inherently have a low thermal resist, but these guys do. Just dropping these guys like crazy. Let's get a bit close actually, but they're going quite far away. We're wasting a bit of ammo there as well. Come on, shoot that guy. You just, it will boost half the HP. Whoa. Yeah, it's just whoop, the shield boost just like that. Shoot this Kikimora. There we go. What is the resistance? 48 resistance, and we'll have minus 70% as well. So they're gonna have very low shield boost, or they're gonna have very low resistances. Look at our shields. They're just going up and down, up and down, up and down. We can maybe have used like some extra buff or something because we're taking a big, like, very big hit at the same time. Actually, I think it's probably a good idea that we kite, because maybe if they're all focusing us and they get multiple wrecking shots, we could actually potentially, you know, go into armor, and we don't want that to happen. Yeah, it doesn't look particularly good. Yeah, it just goes too far down. Especially when they ramp up, it's not going to be good stuff. Let's just have the ogres do their thing and we'll kite at range. We have the Ishtar has an inherent bonus to its drone control range, so we'll be able to have these drones shoot at very far ranges. And then maybe when we've killed this, so there's only 4 Drekavacs left, we can go in and use the short range railgun ammo that I'm using. I mean, it's hardly any DPS from these railguns anyway, but just something a little extra on the side, you know. Yeah. Have these Drekavacs, they'll go down pretty quickly, these beefy Ogre IIs. Let's just actually go out of range just for a little bit, so we can break spool, because they've probably been spooling up quite a bit now, these Drekavacs actually. Let's reload this, because we're not basically doing any damage with our light railguns anyway. So when they start going yellow, then we know that they have stopped spooling, because their disintegrators deactivate when you go out of their range. I think it's like 40 or 50 kilometers these Drekavacs have when it comes to their range. Okay. Have these ogres keep going. We've got a pretty good filament or resistance for time, because they've got minus 70% thermal resistance, so it's going to make everything a bit faster. So it's not the best to display that, oh, look how fast it is in the Firestorm filament. I mean, it's kind of expected when you have the minus 70%. But then if you have the minus 50%, on the other hand, it's pretty then it's good that, like, say you do fast and it's minus 50%, then you would just like, then you definitely means that your ship is very fast. So now there's only 3 left. So I don't think they broke spool, but I'm just gonna go in range just so I can use the short range ammo actually. I'll actually use the spike because it's just gonna take a bit of time until I actually get within that 9-kilometer range of the short range ammo. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Good, good, good. Can make our way to the transfer conduit actually. There we go. Kill that guy. Quick, quick, quick. What's the time? 8 minutes. 8 minutes is pretty good. 4 minutes. That's like what I do in my electrical gear. Average time of like 4 minutes per room. Pretty good right there. Quite impressed actually. The Ishtar is a pretty powerful ship. Just that there are obviously negative sides with over the gear. You've not got that buffer, so you saw that like our shield was bouncing back and forward, back and forward. And also just I don't like having to have so many drones. It's quite annoying. But if you can handle that, I think the Gila in many ways is actually better than even the Ishtar is in many ways better than the Gila. It's got inherent, drone control range bonuses. I think it's got even drone HP bonuses. Let's see now, where is it? It's got tracking speed, yeah, and hit HP bonuses. Everything is buffed up with the drones. It's pretty beefy when it comes to its drones. Okay, 8.5 minutes, pretty good actually. Recall those drones, they're very far away. Heavy drones obviously are quite slow compared to the medium drones I'm used to having. I'll reload a little bit. Drones, come on, speed up a little bit. Oh, actually, they are going quite fast. I think they're going like 2k a second or something, because I don't have the drone tab now. But I can actually just add these to overview. Yeah, they're going 2k a second. Okay, let's go to the next room. T6 Firestorm. T6 Firestorm. I would have never expected to ever run T6 Firestorms. Like even the T5 Firestorms seem quite daunting to me. T6 Firestorms, oof. Okay, so we've got a typical Triglavian wave right here. Thinking of taking out the Vedmax first, actually, because we have no problems with Capacitor. Actually, we will have problems with Capacitor if we are in this orange cloud right here. So let's go a bit out like this and take the thermals. Take out these starvers. Take out maybe 1 or 2 starvers. And then we'll go for the Vedmax, because Vedmax will spool up to pretty big DPS, and even if we have very good recharge rate, we'll not be able to, like, it will be, I can imagine we will dip into armor a bit. Okay, there we go. Now let's take out Vedmax now, because Vedmax are going to be pretty deadly, because they spool up to insane amounts of DPS if you give them enough time. And you can see here we've got a filament cloud, which is not going to make it easier for our capacitor. We've still got pretty good capacity. See that 30 gigajoules, but it's hard for us to get out of this just because we're pretty slow with the afterburner. Okay, yeah, good. This guy is dead basically. Maybe if there's 2 Vedmax left, then we can switch over to the annoying tanglers right here. Actually, I could probably just have my... we'll use our railguns on the Vedmax just to make it faster, because it is that they are in short range. They are in the range of the short range ammo, which actually will do some decent DPS. See there? What's that, 100 DPS? So it's like, it's not absolutely nothing. It's still some, like, just a little bit extra on the top, over 10% increased DPS actually. 4 Vedmax left. Okay, so there's quite a few, and you can see that we're going down quite a bit. Even though we have a really good shield boosting, they're spooling up now, and spooling up can be deadly. But we always have, you see that? Look at that, we bled a little bit into the armor as well. Even though there's only 3 Vedmax left, the spool up can be pretty deadly, and that's why I have to never underestimate the Vedmax, and that's why I thought it was a good idea that I actually switched to these Vedmax sooner than later, because they will, if I had kept on going on those Damaviks, it would have been big problems. And my ogres are taking a lot of damage too. Oof, it's looking pretty spicy. Let's activate Assault damage control just for a little bit, Keep going, don't stop, Ishtar. And why is that ogre taking forever? What is it doing? There we go. I'll take out the DPS drones and put it on here just to give these guys a break here. Oof, look at that. Look at those hits right there. There we go. This is a big issue. Actually. The buffer is just not big enough. I mean, I could put maybe like a large shield extender. That could be a possibility. But it doesn't look good. I mean, the buffer is just too small, so they're doing these hits that are just too big. These Vedmax, even though there's only 2 Vedmax now, it's still actually taking quite a big hit actually. When this guy is down though, definitely it'll not be any issue. It seems to actually be cooling off quite a bit actually when we kill that third Vedmak right now. That should be alright. What is the range of these actually? Because we're getting ghosted by this ghosting one there. Putting a little bit of tracking disruption on us. Look at that. You see they're all full shield. Just 2 Vedmax is able to take out our full shield. It's pretty significant actually what these Vedmax can do. We really don't want to underestimate these guys. And I guess it is good. This is a good site. There's a benchmark for our tank. Because, I mean, we are in a case where our tank will be at the worst position because we get the minus 70% thermal resistance. The Triglavians do a lot of thermal damage, so we will be taking actually a lot of damage from these guys. So even then we did survive, just that I don't feel comfortable with this armor. You see here, like, we're taking quite a bit of armor damage, but I'm guessing if you just prioritize right, it should be alright. It shouldn't be too bad. You see, there's only 1 Vedmak now, but he's spooled up so much that you can see he is taking off like half our shields in 1 volley basically. It's not something I like, but you know, can't really do much about that. The Ishtar is not a inherent shield-based ship, so it doesn't have the best buffer, you know. Okay, we'll take out these Tanglers, or maybe even the ghosting actually would be a bit faster. Okay, shoot this guy. He'll die very quickly. There we go. What is the time? 14 minutes? 14 minutes is really good actually for a T6. I would say that's really good. Here, there seems like basically the main issue is buffer. I wonder if I could do some kind of thing that would make me have a bit more buffer in some way. Maybe I could even replace these like capacitor modules, maybe one of them maybe for a thermal rig that will increase the thermal resistance and make it so that like our shield will become a bit beefier in terms of the thermal resistance. Because here it seems like we're taking a lot of you know damage just because of the Triglavians ramping up a lot. But in the other way, it seemed to be pretty alright because we weren't getting so big hits. It's just that we're getting really big hits here just due to the fact that we've got the minus 70% thermal resistance. Triglavians do thermal resistance. And there was a lot of Vedmax, so they just have enough time to ramp up and do a lot of damage. So really good right there, 14 minutes basically. I am pretty happy with this time. T6 Firestorm, I would have never expected to ever find a fit really to be able to run these, but seems like this does work, but it can be risky, so I think I'll have to do a bit more tests than something I would want to recommend to you guys to use. But it definitely seems that you can do quite interesting things with the Ishtar. It seems to be a very versatile ship in many ways. You can have very high DPS, very good tracking on your heavy drones. I mean, we're using heavy drones, and we're still able to apply pretty well to the frigates, even without any application modules actually. We have really good shield boosting, and we have really good capacitor. So this ship seems to have many qualities that make it a very good abyssal running ship. I'm just not sure if it is the one for me. We'll see about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video right here. Just a little bit of testing new stuff. I want to see more ideas you can possibly do in the abyss. If you guys enjoyed this video right here, please do a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.